Hello, everyone, and welcome to Studio Jake Media. I, of course, am your host, Jacob Airy. Welcome to my live show. I love doing live shows. I need to do them more. And today I am here with my friend C.S. Johnson. She is a very good friend of mine. We got kind of connected because we're both authors, but then we just became really good friends. We've actually been beta readers for each other for different projects that we've worked on. And before I bring C.S. Johnson into the conversation, I just want to remind everyone, like this video, share it out, and please subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I'm over 700, so halfway there. I would really appreciate it. And CJ, I call her CJ because she's my friend. You're going to hear that a lot in the conversation. Welcome back to Studio Jake.
Thank you. I've been trying to tell people CJ is just say CJ, okay? I'm not assertive, so.
Yeah, and also, like I said, we've been how many years have we been friends now? Probably since 2016. So
I was gonna say it's been 2016 because that was the year that the world ended.
Oh, I thought it ended on January 11th. That's what I had heard.
January 6th.
Oh, January 6th, right. January 6th. Sorry, I don't know why I was thinking 11.
No, maybe it ended again. I don't know. I haven't really gotten enough sleep, so I don't know.
Well, it's great to have you back on.
Thank you.
And
we've come a long day from our joking about Celebrity Survivor Edition.
Yes, we have. We've also, and also talking about Little Mermaid, which the new movie is making me more correct in my opinion. But we're gonna have one of the reasons I've had
for that one.
It's true. But one of the reasons I wanted to have CJ back is she has launched a Kickstarter campaign for a new comic book she has written. It's called Dizchord, and while I have not gotten to look at the comic book itself yet, I did have the privilege of reading the script. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of fun. It's a blast. It has a lot of these nuanced themes of what it means to be a hero. It takes place in Atlanta, Georgia, so right in the United States. And just so everyone knows, full disclosure, I did back the Kickstarter campaign. I don't want to keep that a secret from my viewers because why should I keep it a secret? CJ is my friend. Of course, I'm going to support her work. So, get off it if you have a problem with that. But anyway, I think you should support it as well.
Be my friend one day, right?
Yeah. And depending on the platform, I will have a link to the project. Either, I think on YouTube, it's in the description, and on Facebook, it's in the pinned comment. So you can go and check it out for yourself. So CJ, tell everyone a little bit about Dizchord, what it's about, and where you got the idea from.
Okay, so Dizchord is my superhero novel set in modern day contemporary Atlanta. I live near Atlanta. If you haven't read any of my bios before. And when I first moved here, I was really scared because we're a well-known hub for human traffickers. So obviously, I'm too smart to run for political office, and it's true.
It is true. I'm not. Yeah, it's very true.
And I'm not savvy enough, and I don't have blackmail material where I need it. Hit me up if you got any to get into office. And so one of the things that's a great thing about being a writer is that you get to write kind of like your own wish list into reality on some form. And so it's like, if I'm going to write a superhero comic, I'm going to set it in Atlanta because New York has too many superheroes as it is. That's why they got all those problems, I guess.
It's overcrowded.
That does make me think like there's like this causality study that talks about like the more police you have, the more crime you have, but it's usually the other way around. So it's the more crime you have, the more cops you have. So there just must be so much superhero crime in New York City that I just haven't picked up on when I go to visit. But yeah, I said it in Atlanta. I think it's a pretty safe issue to say human trafficking, to whether you're super far left, super far right, or you're an anarcho-communist, that human trafficking is bad, enslaving people and children, especially against their will, and making them do disgusting things is terrible. And that's a pretty, yes, non-controversial statement saying that this is evil and we should be fighting it. And, obviously, we could use some help. So enter Discord, and so Stephen Kibwa is his father's son, and his father's murdered by a human trafficker one day while he's performing at the Georgia Dome. Georgia Dome was actually demolished a few years ago, so this is set in the past, and but it's also set in the present, as you'll see. And he's been training hard and searching for his father's killer. And in the meantime, he also has a special gift where he can hear the song inside each human soul. So, like, your soul would sound different than mine. And over the past 10 years, he's worked hard to be able to like figure it out, how to help people who are maybe like really depressed, and to connect with people that just don't want anybody to help them in some ways. So that's kind of, he's using his gift to find these children and finding the human trafficker, like I said. And so he's upsetting a lot of these human traffickers in the way of getting to his father's killer. And in this issue, he finally gets to face him again.
That's really cool. And I really like the premise. I like the idea. And what would you say is, do you have any influences for the character? Like, was it based on a real person that you met, or a literary person, or do you think, or is it just someone you thought, hey, I think I can develop a character like this?
I'm always amused at how God works things out in some ways. Stephen's father is an immigrant from Kenya, but he was saved by the Ethiopian Orthodox Church when he was over there, and he was poor and he was hungry, and he learned how to play the piano there. So when he came over here and he married Stephen's mother, you have kind of, he's based on one of my friends that I met in college who actually had a similar situation, only he moved to Canada. So obviously I couldn't have that in there. I needed him to move to Atlanta. And, I live in Atlanta, and I know there's a lot of politics and there's a lot of problems with like Cop City and stuff. You'll see that trending a couple times. And it's like, I think the problem is that there's not a lot of nuance in those kind of arguments where it's, we need help maintaining order, and it's not a bad thing to make sure everybody's safe. Obviously people who abuse their positions of power should be shut down. But like, I tell people I'm pro good cop,
Same.
cop, the bad ones, get rid of them. I feel the same thing about a lot of things. Like a lot of things are good, but they all have the capacity to rot, and the ones that are rotten you should get rid of. And it should be easy to get rid of them. Everybody, I'm very pro due process, even with like all this stuff about Johnny Depp and Jonathan Majors and all this stuff that's coming out about stuff. You should have your chance in court. I'm very American.
Makes perfect sense. And whenever you picked a good time to launch this, because people are begging for superhero content right now. And forget just comic books as a medium, but I think we've seen in Japan since the lockdowns, we've seen like this influx of isekais, which is a subgenre where people get pulled into another world, right? And here in America, there seems to be this influx of people who desire someone to save them. They're looking for aspirational heroes, and this is something I think that mainstream comic book companies don't understand, right? They think that the heroes need to be exactly like the person reading the comic, and I don't think that's true. And I'm curious what you think. Where with Dizchord, do you how would you like him to be perceived by your readers?
Well, I want him to be an aspirational sort of character for sure. I don't think I don't think a lot of people understand what heroism amounts to anymore. I mean, like,
It's true.
It's kind of like the Incredibles thing, when everybody's a hero, no one will be.
Right.
And a lot of times people want the accolades and the affluence that come with heroism, but they don't want to do the work. Stephen has suffered a great loss in losing his father, his hero, somebody that was murdered trying to stop someone from like kidnapping a girl. And like he was doing the right thing and he was doing his job, and he wound up, like I said, dead. And that's terrible for a 16-year-old to go through that kind of loss. And then to have like your mother to take care of, and you're still working on, becoming an adult yourself. There are a lot of things that you can kind of pull out. I really, I want them to see Stephen as somebody that they can look up to. I don't see that a lot. I'm not going to go out and buy She-Hulk makeup because
So in other words, you're an internalized misogynist, is what you're telling me.
If that's the requirement.
Now, what's something that you would like for the reader to take away from Dizchord? What are some things you would like for them to pick up on?
I'd like them to pick up on hope and the courage to endure. I think, and maybe like even like tempering the rush to judge somebody. I'm tired of sympathy for the devil kind of tropes.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but like you should still understand that like we live in a fallen world, and a lot of people have hangups and just points of pain that they're not going to move past, and they're only going to cause people more pain. And I think that's something that I feel like there's a large avenue of compassion that has been kind of cut off. And I will say, like, I'm a person of goodwill, and I think that's just so lacking. I mean, I made the comment part of the reason I wanted to do this is I saw the Miles Morales Thor comic, and it's like I could write a better Black character than this person.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
the lightest you'll find. I find happiness at the bottom of my pumpkin spice lattes, and I'm wearing yoga pants right now, Matt Walsh. So.
Well, what was so cringe about that is, everyone says, "Oh, it's a what if story," but one of the things I think, so what? It was still poorly written. It falls into the stereotypes that Marvel would tell you they're trying to combat, right? And instead of just giving us a really good, strong Black character in the form, which on principle I don't have a problem with Miles Morales. I have a problem with him being Spider-Man. Peter Parker is Spider-Man, and I don't have him mentoring Miles Morales into being another spider-themed hero. Obviously, that's really cool. And but also making him Thor, really? Like, how does that work in any mindset, even in a sort of what if scenario? So I take it what you're telling me is that there's no political correctness in Dizchord. You are focused on telling a good story, which, by the way, I've read several other of CJ's works. You don't have to worry about political correctness on either side of the aisle. You're a very talented writer, and I want to be like her when I grow up. And so, but anyway, I know that with Dizchord, you really, just when you were telling me about it, when you first told me about it, when you had first started teasing the campaign, I got really excited about it. And why I am curious, why use Atlanta as like, I know you mentioned that there are too many stories in New York. And I know that you are living in Atlanta right now, so I imagine that's probably part of the reason. But I am curious, as opposed to creating a fictional setting, say like with Batman with Gotham City or Superman with Metropolis, you went with Dizchord and placed him in Atlanta, right outside your front door, right? So I'm curious why that is.
There's such a disconnect with a lot of mainstream heroes today. Like it's kind of the same philosophy when Stan Lee started writing the Fantastic Four, and they were worried about rent, you know.
Right.
um, like a lot of these heroes don't have problems that people relate to. You know, Steven is going to college. Steven has, you know, he's lost his father, and he's looking for the guy who killed him. You know, obviously it's not. I'm hoping not everybody, nobody has that exact sort of scenario, but he's trying to grow up and do honor his father's legacy and stuff. And that's something that we can kind of relate to, even if we relate to it in the opposite way. So, you know, I think with the multiverse stuff with Kang, I was complaining earlier with somebody about like, I don't know what Kang's goal is really. I don't know if he's actually a good
Well, especially
agent.
if there's more than one.
I mean, is he trying to bring about the end of the multiverse, or I mean, like it has evolved with Marvel from you know, Iron Man defeating the terrorists in the Middle East to a multitude of Kangs in the multiverse. And the it's kind of, I mean, I get that it evolved that way, and that if you followed it, it would make more sense. But it's also like like this is so disconnect from you know, getting the kids to school on time, and like I said, dealing with problems that are like in your face, like your neighbor's dog pooped in your yard. You know, I want my heroes to be able to have real struggles that speak into real life, and I don't think a lot of mainstream comics do that very well, and especially you know, the mainstream movies that are being presented to us.
You know, it's interesting you say that because my father-in-law, may rest in peace, one of the things that he talked about was one time I was told by my best friend who is also Mexican that Spider-Man is big in Mexico, and I was thinking, whoa, a kid from New York is big in Mexico. Well, when Civil War came out, I actually found the trailer on YouTube that Marvel cut for the Mexican audience, and you would have thought it was a Spider-Man movie. Spider-Man dominates that trailer, and that's actually how a lot of people got spoilers about Spidey was from that trailer. And I
Nice.
asked my father-in-law again, may rest in peace, that I said, "Hey, why is it that Spider-Man is so big in Mexico? All five of the movies before the MCU did very well, and so on." And he said, I think there's even like an unofficial like Mexican Spider-Man movie that's real big. And his response was, "Oh, because he's poor." And you know, and it just kind of dawned on me. Yes, Peter Parker. He did go through periods of his life where he had a little bit of wealth, but that's true. That was a struggle he could always relate to. Was he was always stealing technology from villains to build his mask. And in fact, they explain it in the comic books how his mask is able to move with it was he stole the technology from Mysterio, and that's why they're not static like they are in the Tobey Maguire films or the Andrew Garfield films. But I agree with you. I think that is something that has kind of gotten lost, was in modern writers, especially in an attempt to make them so relatable, they're almost unrelatable, because no one, no one introduces themselves with their pronouns. Let's just be real. And
My
I'm
pronouns
just gonna, on the
are
record, does Discord introduce himself with his pronouns? Let's find that out.
no, my
Okay.
pronouns for what it's worth are I, me, and mine. So
Mine are His Majesty, if anyone cares to know. But I am, and going back to that whole relatability thing, that is also balanced out with you want a hero who's aspirational. So yes, the Fantastic Four struggle with rent, but you also admire Reed Richards' efforts to be an intrepid scientist and is always making these discoveries. And from what you're describing from Discord, and I don't want to give any spoilers. Like I said, I've read the script, but with Discord, it's his desire to rescue people from human traffickers and whatnot. And so I'm curious, how did you find that balance with wanting to make Discord relatable, but also wanting him to be kind of an inspiration to the people of Atlanta and the people he's saving?
Well, see, like, I think there's like a paradox for, like you're saying, like they've made them so relatable that they're unrelatable. There's a paradox to relatability. Everybody has things that they value, and you got to figure those things out. And I've said this before: everybody is conservative about something, and everybody's liberal about something. That's why, like, as Christians, we're called to be, liberal in our love, but conservative in our narrow way of truth.
Mm.
And so it's kind of the same thing. Everybody has values, everybody has convictions, and Steven's conviction is that he wants to help people, so nobody ends up like he is. And even though he has the incredible gift to hear people's souls, he's almost haunted by them. And I think that kind of is like evocative of Superman on some level, where you can understand what's affecting other people, and under, if you are able to help, you want to help somebody get out, especially if they're in pain.
Mhm.
And I think that has a lot to do with it. And I think that's something that everybody can get behind. If you can help, you ought to help.
That's true.
You shouldn't like kill yourself trying to save someone else necessarily. But that's a very kind of like worldly virtue. In regards to like the Christian value that comes through is this idea of empathy and judging rightly. One of Stephen's talents is that he is able to see like the past memories that kind of haunt people in their soul. And while you do see this on some figures, like where he actually like tells them he can see them, you feel bad that they don't get a full shot at like redemption, or that they want to but they can't seem to pull themselves out of it, which is where I said I think you need aspirational people that are willing to do the work and sacrifice for other people for the greater good. And it can't be a sacrifice that's born out of like guilt or shame or Twitter dogpiling. It has to be something genuinely authentic from the heart, and I think that's what I really love about Stephen. So
That's true. And do you mind if I show a teaser image for everyone? That way they can kind of get an idea of the artwork. All
the
right.
Kickstarter is live today, so there, and I did put the first 5 pages up on the Kickstarter too, so you could kind of see it. I'm really excited about working with my artists. We just okayed me sending in issue number 2, so there'll be issue number 2.
That's awesome. How many do you have a planned? Do you have a planned amount how the series is going to be? Or Pixie Ray says it looks nice. Thank you, Pixie Ray. That is my beautiful, super cute wife. She always watches my streams. I can always count if on one viewer, and that is my super cute wife, Pixie Ray, and sometimes she goes by Prism Pixie. But
Well, where's
anyway.
my
Right. I always like to talk up my wife because she's awesome. Now, this image here, and everyone can see it well, it's my left, but they're right. Is you see Dizchord, and this is the front page, right? This is the first page.
Yep, that's actually like downtown Atlanta. I've been there
Nice.
several times. The Ferris wheel is pretty well known at this point. I just kind of laugh because it's like the London Eye is so much bigger. We try to copy so many cities, and it's like, give it up, embrace your natural peachiness.
I feel that way whenever I lived in Dallas. I'm like, stop trying to be other cities, just be Dallas. But on the second panel at the front, I'm assuming that is Dizchord in the costume.
Yep.
All right, and I love this costume. It's very reminiscent of sort of the street level vigilantes that you would see in comic books, and I love the gold. I love the V. I love the scrimmage sticks on the back. They could just be nightsticks. I don't know if there's some fancy martial arts term for them, but
there is. I forget it at the moment, but I was gonna say I wanted an outfit that was kind of like you can kind of see the chords and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So that there's something to do with music, but I wanted something that was very Atlanta, and Atlanta it's got its own the energy when you come down here is very different from New York. I grew up going to New York a lot, so that's kind of what I do compare it to, and Down here, there's a lot more. Um, it's almost uncertainty, I want to say. Like in New York, you can be really confident and really obnoxious, and nobody cares. But at the end of the day, New Yorkers are very pragmatic too, and they're very like if you do run into trouble or something or you get hurt, you want a New Yorker to come in and be like, okay, we got to do this, this, and this. Down here in the South, it's definitely a different vibe, and there's a lot more. There's a lot less cynicism, I would say. A lot more people here, I think, are happier just because they choose to be happier. Sorry, New York.
Well, and I see how that kind of bleeds onto the page. I'll bring it back up here. For me, you can, even though it's night and there's darkness, that your artist did a fantastic job of making the city look so vibrant. I mean, I always say this too about, even though San Francisco is doing really terrible right now. I got to visit San Francisco many years ago, and I was out in Turtle Bay just as the sun was going down. And it's such a shame that the politicians there, have really messed it up, because it's such a beautiful city at night. Just how they have the lights arranged and everything. And I really feel I haven't been to Atlanta at night. I have been to Atlanta, but I was driving through. I didn't stop at night. I was on my way to Florida, but I did. But the way you captured that, the city lights and making it look so vibrant, and your artist translating that onto the page, it looks really incredible.
I'm really pleased with so my artist team is Lake Comic Studio. They're really great to work with, and I'm really pleased that I've had a really good experience with them. So I'm looking forward to it, like I said, for issue number 2, and hopefully my issue run intended is about 5 or 7. We'll see how there's like a big twist that
and then a graphic novel.
Yeah, there's a big twist that I have in the back of my mind in the series, and I wanted it's kind of
tease your first.
Yes. How much do I want to like incorporate this? Because and this is kind of where I hate the thing, because like I gave a couple of like an interview with my friend Paul in Bounding Into Comics, and I saw some of the comments and they're like, oh, it's just a Nightwing ripoff, and I'm like, I've never read a Nightwing comic.
I know. I remember one time I made a list of writers who, at the time, Tom King had been fired from writing Batman. I don't know why he wasn't fired by DC altogether, but he had been fired, and I had made a list of 10 people DC Comics should hire to write Batman, and you were on that list. And I remember you shared it, which I was very thankful for, but you were like, I've never even read a Batman comic. And I was like, oh, well, that's too bad, because
I would say, like, I prefer Marvel, like, just tonally. I have aged into DC, and I appreciate DC more now as an adult. But I think for a child, especially like somebody who has kids and young kids, I think Marvel is more my what preference. I don't even know. Like,
that makes sense. I've often told people that if Batman was Marvel, I would be all Marvel. I mean, a lot of people are stunned to hear me say that, but it's just a fact. But
well, and I think Batman's
go ahead.
good about Batman is pretty good about, again, too, like loss and the hard working up. It's similar in that to Dizchord, and that he has that loss of the parental figure and he doesn't know which way forward, really. So
that makes sense. And just going back more practically to the Kickstarter campaign, what I see, you have a really awesome T-shirt that you've got on, and I'm curious, like, what are some of the other prizes, so to speak, that backers can get for this campaign?
Okay. Well, I actually, like, in the course of this too, like, I really hate coming off saying it like this, but like I've found so many, like, once you start a project, you find people that you just like are like gems. And like, if you imagine Twitter as this big sandbox, a lot of people end up being dog poop. You find I talk about dog poop a lot. Sorry. Yes, you find a couple of gems here and there, and so from Cree TV, Theo, he
awesome guy, by the way.
Yes, he also likes to draw and stuff. So he did some official artwork for me.
Nice.
And I was like, oh, great. Someone's excited and they can draw. Hey, do you want to do some for me? Um, and then I have a couple other people that are doing other things with it, which I'll talk about a little bit later after the Kickstarter's over. And so I have some. So like I said, I got Theo's artwork, and that's the Digital Art Reward. And then I got some swag, and I got a variant cover from my other graphic novel artist, Levi Tonin. I can't say his name right, sorry, but really good job with Dizchord, like showing Atlanta and his musical power and everything. And so it's a variant cover for the hardback edition. I have kids, so I prefer hardbacks.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it just makes sense after a while. So like the cover that you showed, that's the soft cover copy, and then there's a special hardback one. And there's a few other things. I'm trying to design some more swag, special secret swag. We'll see how many takers I get on it.
You never know.
So yeah, you
But
can also add in like a 30-minute conversation with me. So if you want to get up here and talk with me, pay the $50 or whatever it is. I don't know.
well, now everyone knows. And where can people find not just Discord, but your other works as well?
If you like, so I have a lot of stuff on Amazon. Obviously, I think Amazon is the go-to for most people, but I have it on a few other places, and then I have a coffee shop. There's a link in my Twitter, and my Twitter, yes, can't figure it out. There we go. My Twitter is at writer CS Johnson, and csjohnson.me is my website where it'll take you to all those links too.
That's awesome. And everyone who's watching, like I said before, CJ is a good friend of mine. We've been friends for 7 years now. I fully endorse Discord, especially after reading the script. It's not like I'm doing this blind. I always ask even my friends to see things before they launch. So I did get to see some art pieces and read the script, and it's incredible. So definitely check it out. Like I said, on YouTube, the link is in the description. On Facebook, it's the pinned comment. And anywhere else you're watching, head on over to CJ's Twitter. As she noted, it's on her name. There it is. It's
Yes.
on her. It's on her name. So head over there, hit the link. I've also retweeted it several times, so you can find it on my Twitter at RealJakeAiry. And before I say goodbye, I just want to remind everyone to subscribe. Help me get to that 1,000 here on YouTube. And check out my website, StudioJakeMedia.com, as well as my locals, which CJ is a part of my locals community. You can find all my content there. It's StudioJakeMedia.locals.com. I also post exclusive things. I have an exclusive review of Dororo, which is a completed anime that I really like. It's a dark fantasy anime, as well as the first season of The Boys. I probably won't review The Boys ever again after reviewing season 1. So enjoy that one. And also check out some of my other articles. CJ, thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, thank you for having me. I always have fun with you.
And to everyone else, thank you so much for joining me. And I'll see you next time right here on Studio Jake.
Bye.